Let me tell you something that might be a little uncomfortable. When it comes to money, how smart you are doesn't really matter. It's all about how you behave. So today, we're going to dig into why some of the smartest people out there make absolutely terrible financial decisions, and more importantly, how you can avoid making those same mistakes. Let's get into it. And this brings us to a really interesting puzzle, something I like to call the smart person's paradox. It's something a lot of us probably grapple with, maybe without even realizing it. I mean, this is the question, right? This is what keeps people up at night. You've done everything you were supposed to do. You went to a good school. You've got a great job. You're obviously intelligent. But then you look at your bank account and the numbers just don't add up. They don't reflect all that hard work. So what's going on here? To really get to the bottom of this, we're going to look at 3 stories. And these aren't just hypotheticals. They're based on real-life examples that perfectly show the psychological traps that so many of us fall into, no matter how high our IQ is. Okay, so first up, let's meet Rajesh. This guy is the real deal, a brilliant engineer from a top college, working at a huge tech company, pulling in a salary of 45 lakhs a year. I mean, by every measure, Rajesh should be totally set financially, right? Well, not exactly. Despite that massive paycheck, Rajesh has 2 lakhs in credit card debt, absolutely no emergency fund, and he hasn't even started investing. The gap between his income and his financial health is, well, it's staggering. How does someone so smart get into a mess like this? Well, the answer is a powerful little quirk in our brains called present bias. You see, we're all hardwired to want stuff now. The pleasure of immediate gratification feels way more important than some reward way off in the future. For Rajesh, that instant thrill of a new gadget or a fancy vacation feels so much more real than the vague idea of a retirement fund. I mean, the benefit of investing is 20 years away, but the joy of spending is right here, today. All right, let's move on to our second story. Meet Sharma Uncle. He's 60 years old, a retired government officer. He worked hard his whole life, saved diligently, and put all his money into what he and millions of others believed was the safest asset on earth, real estate. But here's the trap. On paper, Sharma Uncle is rich. He's got 3 properties worth around 4 crore. But in reality, his monthly income is practically zero. He's struggling with day-to-day expenses because all his wealth is tied up in buildings that are incredibly difficult to sell. Now, just imagine if he had that same 4 crore in a diversified portfolio. He could be getting up to 2 lakhs in cash every single month. So you have to ask yourself, is his property actually wealth, or is it just a massive, illiquid burden? So why? Why do so many smart people like Sharma Uncle go down this path? Well, it's because of something called loss aversion. For our brains, the pain of losing money feels about twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining it. The thought of the stock market going down is terrifying, but a physical asset like property feels solid, it feels safe, even if it's completely inefficient. We're just wired to avoid a potential loss more than we're wired to chase a potential gain. And now for story number 3, one that I'm sure is going to feel very, very familiar to a lot of you. This is Priya. She's a 32-year-old marketing manager who, like most of us, spends a fair bit of time on social media. Back in 2021, Priya's social media was just an endless stream of people getting rich off crypto. The stories were everywhere. And that feeling, that fear of missing out, FOMO, it just became overwhelming. So she took her entire life savings, 5 lakh rupees, and threw it all into crypto. No research, no strategy, just pure emotion. And then the market crashed. Her savings were nearly wiped. Priya's story is just the perfect illustration of why this classic advice from Warren Buffett is so powerful. Our psychology pushes us to do the exact opposite of what we should. The time to get greedy was when everyone was fearful back in 2020, not when everyone was greedy in 2021. And this is the trap of herd mentality. It's a mental shortcut. When we see a huge crowd of people doing something, our brains just assume it must be the right thing to do. So we stop thinking for ourselves, and we just follow the herd, which a lot of times is headed straight off a financial cliff. So let's recap. We've seen 3 smart people make 3 huge mistakes, all driven by 3 different psychological biases. But here's the thing. These stories aren't disconnected. They all point to one single profound truth about money. And here it is. This is the big reveal, the whole point of this explainer. Financial success is not 80% about knowing the formulas and the jargon and the tax codes. It's 80% about managing your own psychology. Your fear, your greed, your impatience. You can be a genius. You can know all the theory in the world, but if you can't control your own behavior, all that knowledge is basically useless. And this is why this is so important to remember. There is no one-size-fits-all right answer in finance. The best financial plan for you isn't the one that looks the fanciest on a spreadsheet. It's the one that you can actually stick with, month after month, year after year. It's the one that lets you sleep at night. Okay, so we get the problem. Our own brains are working against us. The big question is, what can we actually do about it? Let's talk about a clear, simple framework you can start using right away to make better decisions.
It's really just 3 simple steps. First, you have to know yourself. Be brutally honest. Are you a spender? A panicker? What are your biases? Second, create your own rules. Make them dead simple and non-negotiable. And third, build systems, not goals. Stop chasing some vague number and just automate your good habits.
And check this out. See how these simple rules directly fight the biases we just talked about? If you automatically invest on payday, you beat present bias because the money is gone before you can spend it. If you force yourself to wait 48 hours before a new investment, you kill that impulsive FOMO. And if you only check your portfolio once a year, you prevent yourself from making panicked emotional decisions. You're building a system to protect yourself from, well, yourself. And at the end of the day, this is what it all boils down to. The game is not about trying to outsmart the market or find the next hot stock. Forget about all that. Your real, sustainable financial advantage comes from turning inward, from understanding your own psychological triggers and building a system that helps you stay rational for the long haul. So I'll leave you with this one question to really think about. Based on everything we've talked about, based on your own personality, what is the one simple rule you can create for yourself, starting today, to build a better financial future? Because that's where the journey really begins.